and ask that we record. All right, let's get started. Awesome. Neil, what do you think? Should we get started? And as more people join, we can catch them up?
Yeah, it's after 12.
Okay.
I think it's fine to start.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody, or I guess good afternoon. For some of you, it's definitely morning because I know you just woke up. We're so excited that you could join us today to chat a little bit about camp this summer. I know that for some of you on the call, for many of you, you are in different places in terms of your exploration for the summer. For some of you, you have offers. For some of you, you are actively talking with Neil. And for some of you, you're really not sure about whether camp is the right place for you to be this summer. And so first and foremost, we just want to thank you for taking time out of your day, out of your Sunday to chat. And the purpose of this call is really just to check in and for us to share with you what's on our mind and the things that we've been working on, and to also be able to hear from you, to have an authentic and safe conversation about what's on your mind. If you're on the fence, what sort of things you feel like you need to know from us to be able to make a decision. Our staff are the secret sauce to camp. The staff are the reasons why camp goes round. And I think we often forget that camp just doesn't happen. Camp happens because we have an amazing staff. And I think the past couple of years, with all of the changes that we've had, that we have forgotten a little bit about how much the staff is the reason that everything gets pulled together. And so before we start, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the JCC, Josh Weinstein, Neil and Amy, that we are so appreciative of everything that you do. And whether camp is the place for you to be this summer or not, you are such an important part of our community. And we're so grateful that you are here in some sort of capacity to help us ensure that campers this summer have the same incredible experience that perhaps you've had as a kid. So thank you guys so much for being you, and know that you are super appreciated, and that we are working hard to continue to make sure that you know how much we value everything that you do, and recognize that oftentimes being a camp counselor is thankless, and we're going to work harder to thank you. So with that, let's talk about some upgrades that are coming to CSL this summer. Those of you who have been at camp for many years know that CSL is well loved. I think that's the easiest way to say it. We know that camp is super well loved, but we have been working really, really hard to make some improvements to camp. Some of these have already started. Some of them are in the works. And some have not yet started, but we're working on getting them started. So I wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about these. So our office has been renovated. First and foremost, the first floor is now air conditioned, which feels super awesome and nice. We have all new flooring on the first and second floor. We've painted. We've taken old furniture out. JVH built custom new furniture, desks on the first floor and a conference table on the second floor. We're really trying to professionalize the office and make it a comfortable place for whether you're working in the office, whether you're working at camp and you need to get on a Zoom call for school or for a job that you're trying to get for the fall. We recognize that it's a really important shared space, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable this summer. Most of you guys know we have Wi-Fi around camp now. It's in designated certain spaces. We've got it in the staff lounge, in the office, in the dining hall, at the waterfront, which is called the Lake, which is super weird. We got to get that fixed. And the dining hall, what is it called? Is it called the mess hall?
It's like, yeah, JCC mess hall or something.
Yeah, super weird. It's not for us. We have to change the name. And then the infirmary has it, and then the cabins on Retirement Hill have it. Am I missing anywhere, Neil, that has it? I think those are the spots. But it's really great, and it's definitely going to change our dynamic of when you've got time off, being able to get on your computer or on your phone and get things done and catch up with friends and not feel like you have to leave to go to Dunkin' Donuts. We are doing some great things to the waterfront. So the boathouse just needed some structural improvements. The roof was caving in and the foundation was sinking. So we're just fixing those two things. And that will be ready for summer 2021. That is signed, sealed, delivered. And as soon as spring rolls around and the ground's hard enough, we're going to get started on that. We are getting a brand new, beautiful pavilion behind the fire circle, kind of like the pavilion, our ping pong pavilion. That is can be used for a gathering space for campers right before they go to the waterfront, can be used for teaching, could be used for yoga. It can be used for additional program space, whatever it is that we want to use. It's an additional covered space, which I think will be really welcomed at the waterfront since there isn't a lot of place that you can get shade. We are doing maintenance work and getting all new upholstery on our motorboats. We did retire a few of our boats that we realized were not worth putting money into to fixing, but the other ones are currently getting fixed as we speak. So they will definitely be in great running shape for the summer. And we're really excited to be able to get our waterfront program back up and running to where it should be. We're also fixing all of our sailboats. So a lot of our sailboats by the end of this past summer for family getaway weekends were hurting. And we recognized that we needed to put some money into fixing our boats. And so we're doing that as well. JVH got himself a brand new shiny tractor, which is super awesome. Most importantly, a new tractor means better roads. So easier for us to drive around, to walk around. Camp will just feel better with that. We recognize that the outdoor stage of the OREC is hurting, both the stage and the door and the lighting. And with it being a COVID summer, we know we're going to want to use that space even more than in the past. So we're going to get that fixed as well. Our pool is going to get a new vacuum and a new slide. So new vacuum sounds silly, but it's going to be a cleaner pool as a result of having that, and easier equipment for our pool staff to be able to keep the pool clean and bringing our slide back for lots of fun. This is really exciting. This is not signed yet, but we are getting to the finish line on getting a brand new climbing tower for the summer. So those of you who were at camp in 2019 know that our rock climbing wall was nearing retirement, and that some sides were already not able to be used, and it at this point is officially been retired. And so Amy and JVH have been working really hard with Adventure Network to find us a brand new climbing tower with a Neil, it's got like a what's the word I'm looking for that's attached to it that you can swing down from, right?
Swing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. We're really excited. We're going to add additional bottle filling stations. So we recognize that we can't use water fountains like the one at the office. So we're going to be replacing water fountains with bottle filling stations and adding s'mores. Some more. Oh, s'mores. Did you like what I did there? We're going to be making some structural improvements to some of our buildings. So the staff lounge and some of our staff housing near the dining hall have some work that needs to be done to them. That might not be things that you can actually see, like not fixing the insides of them necessarily, but fixing the structures to keep them safe. And then we're hoping to be able to complete the Tusk Stairs project. We recognize that we're not sure if we're going to be able to physically use Tusk as a place to live, but we want to get those stairs in. So any questions about upgrades for the summer? Things that we're doing? We're super excited. Okay. Neil, do you want to start? I'm going to take a drink of water. You want to start on our commitment?
Sure. So one of the reasons why we're holding this conversation today is because our commitment to all of you for being transparent and open about the process for what it's going to take to make CSL 2021 happen. And so we've decided to add or at least share some more of our goals in terms of our commitment to all of the potential staff and all of the young alumni. So our presence is like, you know, us being available and here and at camp when camp is happening so that we're available for whatever we need to be available for. We're all in. And what that means is we are, I think, unlike most camp directors in recent years, we are going to be doing a lot of things on the sort of like the ground floor with you, things such as like getting our lifeguard certifications and our boat driving or boat license. You're going to see us during general swim at the pool, helping with guard shifts and all of that, belaying at the rock wall, driving boats, whatever. A fun, safe, meaningful summer, whatever that can look like in this like COVID world, which is something we're working through right now. But we recognize that there's a void in a lot of people's hearts and souls for CSL, and our goal is to be able to actually make it happen and make it good. Clear and consistent expectations regarding job responsibilities. If you are applying to work at camp and if you've gotten an offer, or if you're still waiting for something along those lines to come your way, we're going to be working hard to make sure that it's clear what exactly is expected of you during your time employed with us or not employed with us, whatever it might be. Frequent communication and transparency. That's what I sort of started this slide talking about. Just filling you guys in when we need to fill you in. When there's updates to share, we're going to share them. We have, there's no secrets. There's no need to hide anything here. Comprehensive training during orientation and throughout the summer. So depending on what camp looks like for 2021, we're going to be needing our staff to do things maybe that they've not done before, or maybe that they didn't think they were going to need to do. So we are committed to not throwing anybody in to the deep end of the pool without teaching them how to swim first. I mean that both like literally and metaphorically. So if you're going to get a lot of training in different areas, things such as like how to clean the dining hall after a meal. Like we're all going to know how to do that. So after a meal, any one of us can help. Things like getting people belay certified, or certified to teach paddle sports, or certified to teach tennis, like all of that stuff, so that we can rely on the staff at large to do all of the things that need to happen. And we're committed to providing those trainings and not throwing anybody in that's unprepared, or at least feels like they're unprepared. Increased opportunities for leadership. So things are going to look different this year. Like we don't exactly know what hobbies are going to look like, or signature programs are going to look like, or evening programs. And with that comes sort of our built-in expectations of what leadership opportunities are available for the staff. But we are committed to making sure that all of our staff have an opportunity for leadership in some way, whether that's being on a planning committee for an evening program, or being a captain for some sort of signature program, or being someone who's leading an activity area during a certain time of the day. We are committed to making sure that all of our staff have the opportunity to have some sort of leadership in the ways that match up well with their skill set. Frequent feedback. We have all these natural breaks built into to the summer in terms of the 3 intersessions and a little bit, some time built in there, and then days off and all that stuff. So in terms of feedback, we are committed to making sure that there is at least a midsummer and a end of summer eval feedback loop that happens at the very minimum. And that's something that has happened in the past, and maybe we've gotten a little lax on that in recent memory, but we are committed to providing formal feedback to all of our staff members at least twice during the summer. Breaks and time off, I alluded to that, but we recognize the need for space, both physically and mentally and emotionally from camp. And that's every day. That's, time off during the day. On a normal day, that's having days off during the session when there's time for days off, and then also having the time during intersession for time off as well. And increased salaries and incentives for certifications. I think I sent you all an email that talked about this a little bit. We were able to increase the salaries for, I think, about 80% of the jobs that we have at CSL. And we're also incentivizing certain certifications. So if you bring a lifeguard certification to Camp Seneca Lake in 2021, you're going to get a bonus on your salary. I think it's like $250 or something like that. But that's like, we recognize that it's hard to have these certifications and to keep them or to get them. And we're committed to making sure that you're compensated fairly for having this like above and beyond certification. If you're working at an area like the waterfront or the pool, it is a requirement of your job to have like a lifeguarding certification, for example. But in that case, we're still providing an incentive for having that certification. So I think that's it for the slide. Are there questions on any of the things that I just said? You can just like unmute and speak up if there are.
Also, I'll add in if there's something that you think you'd like to share with us that you think would be something you'd like us to commit to. That's also something that you can share. You can send it in the chat box. If you want to do it anonymously, you can text me and I won't say who said it and I can read it out. We really want you to know that the lines of communication are open and we really want to hear from you guys if you have some thoughts. So what's new this summer, Neil? Why don't we bounce back and forth? I'll start so you can catch your breath and then we can go back and forth on this one together. So we wanted to, some of this is reiteration, but also some of this is new and it wasn't fully baked the last time that we all got together as a group. So based on our 50% capacity of each cabin, the plan right now is that we're going to have 6 to 8 campers in each cabin and 2 staff. We really are excited that this summer we can really have smaller groups and allow our staff to have time to really be able to focus on the campers and that development of that friendship and the leadership that you need, and that hopefully it doesn't feel like there's too many campers, that life feels totally chaotic. So we're really actually looking forward to this reduced capacity to be able to allow our campers and our staff to have this really meaningful experience. And with 2 staff to 6 to 8 campers, really being able to learn more about yourself, have time, as Neil said, to get to some program areas, work on areas that you're interested in being able to grow in at camp, and really be able to explore all that camp has to offer you as a staff member. So with that said, just as I said, there's going to be opportunities to be trained and work in multiple program areas. For some of you who this is the beginning of your journey of being a camp staff member, perhaps you're not really sure where you might want to go in the future at camp, or maybe you have been at camp as a counselor for a couple of years and are really interested in exploring, learning more about a program area. We really want to be able to support that. And so as Neil talked about, your job descriptions and knowing what's being expected of you, and then having these opportunities to be able to provide feedback for us to give to you and you to give us, we hope that you'll be able to explore and try new things at camp. So this is one of the important ones, and I'm going to hand it off to Neil, that I think we really wanted to touch on today, because we hear rumblings of things that perhaps people are talking about. And we want you to know that our goal is not to bubble this summer. So as you know, last summer, we successfully ran our programs. We had over 700 people come through camp, and our staff did not have to stay at camp. They went out at night. They maybe got ice cream during the day. They went home. They traveled back to their home and came back. Obviously, we are in a different place with COVID now than we were then with the availability of testing. I have just this week, Neil doesn't even know about this because it happened over the weekend. 2 camp families have connected me with 2 organizations that do daily rapid testing. I've got calls with 2 different organizations to learn more about what they may be able to provide camp over the summer. But our hope, unless we're told by the state or the county, is that we do not want to bubble. We know that you have lives. We know that you need a break. I need a break. I have a life also. I don't want to be stuck at camp, and I know you don't either, but I also know we love camp. So please know that every day we are working really hard and creatively to figure out how we can run camp and not have to bubble you. If we learn something that changes, we're going to let you know, and we're going to give people the opportunity to have meaningful conversations with us about whether or not this is right for you. But if you're on the fence and you're concerned about not being able to do other things throughout the summer, please know that our hearts are with you, and we really are committed to being able to make that happen unless it's out of our control. Neil, I'm going to pass it off to you to talk more about programming, which you did already allude to.
So the programming, I think we're going to show the staff.
Yeah, do you want me to just go to that while you're talking?
No, I'm just going to allude to it right now.
Okay.
So we're going to show you the org chart in a moment, which we've shown you on a Zoom in the past. But essentially, the programming department has shrunk, or there's going to be fewer people working specifically in programming. There's one person that will be focusing on the daily program, like the regular schedule of the day, things that you would think of as like hobbies and regular periods. We're going to have one person focusing on that. We're going to have one person focusing on all of the evening and village programs, bunk nights, village nights, pups, that type of thing. And then one person focusing on signature programs such as opening and closing ceremonies, camp stock, mass program, that type of thing. And then two support people in programming. So what that means is not that one person is writing all of those evening and village programs, not that one person is writing that signature program on their own, but rather that those people are facilitating planning committees and group efforts to get those programs written and to get them organized and to make sure that we have all the available materials and staff and locations and logistics that we need for them. So what does that mean for a village staff member or a program area specialist? That means that we're going to call on you, or you're going to volunteer yourself to be a part of planning and writing those programs. It'll be some kind of committee or some kind of meeting that is facilitated by that person in programming that's overseeing those things. But we're going to lean on the general staff for all of the creative input, for all of the logistical things that need to happen there. So I was talking about those leadership opportunities, and here's an opportunity. Essentially, like every day, every staff member will have an opportunity for a leadership moment there. Opportunities to sit on planning committees and plan your own bunk and village nights. I spoke about that a little bit already just now, but that programming is really just going to help facilitate and make sure that people have the stuff that they need and have the logistic support that they need. But the village staff, the bunk staff, the program area staff, they are going to be writing and leading all of those, all of what we think of as like a program at CSL.
Thanks,
Neil. I think that's it for this one.
Questions, thoughts? Did you guys?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Was I just unmuted the whole time?
Well,
no, you're good, Matt.
No, good. Okay, good. And then can I just make one comment?
Please. Yes.
Okay, so in gym class the other day, we were playing pickleball, and it was just a lot of fun. So I think that'd be a great addition. It was socially distant, and it was really fun. So, and you only need like a couple paddles and a wiffle ball. It was so much fun.
Sold.
Cool.
That sounds
great.
Thank
you, Matt.
I love pickleball. The JCC loves pickleball, actually, I should say. All right. So, Neil, do you want to start walking through this so I can jump in?
Yeah. So here is sort of like the 30,000 foot view of our staffing structure this summer. Essentially, between myself, Amy, Josh, and Lori, we are overseeing everything that happens at camp. And you can see it all broken down there. I think the next couple of slides will go into more detail in that stuff. So this is some of what I'm overseeing, the unit heads and the CIT director. So essentially like the village life and the counseling staff. This is, I think, very similar to what we've seen in the past. There's been a lot of confusion about that should say assistant counselor, but assistant junior counselor and the counselor breakdown. And essentially they are very much, in terms of responsibilities, in terms of what's written on paper, they look very similar. They look similarly to each other. But our expectations of assistant and junior counselors, or assistant/junior counselors, in the first couple of weeks of the summer are different than that of our expectations of the counselors. We don't expect assistant and junior counselors to hit the ground running on day one of having campers, but we do expect the counselors to be at a full sprint on day one. And that's sort of, I can go into more detail on that, and I've explained it a couple of times already, but that's essentially the difference between the assistant counselor and the counselor position. And sorry for the confusion here. There are no junior counselors. There's just assistant counselors, but it's the same thing.
Yes, and this was an old presentation that Neil and I both missed when we reviewed it on Friday. So our fault, we didn't drink enough coffee.
Okay, and then this is what I explained with the programming department here a little bit. So the 2 programming specialists are supporting the 3 like programming leaders essentially in whatever they need, and then I'm sort of just managing from like a 30,000 foot view these 3 different things that are happening.
And there's our shiny new office floor.
Yep.
Anything else on this one, Neil?
Nope.
Okay.
I can speak for Amy. So Amy is managing the operations and logistics part of camp and what that looks like. So what you'd think of as like the office person, Amy is managing and supervising that. We already have a staff commitment to be this operations and logistics coordinator. I can't go into details about any of that just now for HR reasons, but essentially Amy and the team in the office will be facilitating laundry and mail and luggage and like working with the health center on making sure that they have all the medications that they need from town, from the pharmacy, making sure that kids that need help outside of camp are able to get it. And then the big thing that is so unknown about this upcoming summer in the office is COVID precautions, and the office being sort of like the first line of defense for that. So we have the gate, obviously, but then as you guys know, anytime you go into some of these like larger organizations, you need to get your temperature checked and have a waiver signed and a health check completed. So the office staff, or the operations and logistics staff are also going to be coordinating that, which is like a huge piece of the puzzle that is like unknown exactly what it'll look like, but we know that they're going to be doing it. For example, when you come back from your day off, you're not going to be able to just like mosey into camp and be like, all right, I'm back from my day off. We're going to have to do paperwork and temperature checks and contact and like figure out where you were, so that if there is something that comes up, then we can do contact tracing as well. So that's the operations and logistics staff.
Neil, can I jump in for one quick second just to add something to that? So all of that sounds like a lot. Like the COVID piece is a huge piece of this. So this week, we are kicking off our COVID-19 medical committee. We have a group of volunteers in the community who are doctors and nurses and social workers and people who have been working in contact tracing that are members of our community that know camp really well. So that committee is starting this week, and they are committed to supporting us through the end of camp. And that means that they're going to be helping us with writing our policies, determining some big things like, will we require, if let's say that vaccines were readily available to everyone, would we require them? I really don't want to be the one that makes those decisions on my own. I think it's really important when we're thinking about COVID and all of our health that we are able to lean on experts. So in addition to our healthcare team that will be at camp this summer, we will also have a group of experts outside of camp who are going to be helping to support us. And of course, being able to help the office staff and the rest of us who are boots on the ground.
Great, thank you. Here's our program area slide: waterfront, ropes, pool, arts and crafts, performing arts, Judaica, Israel, and athletics. This looks a little bit more slim than this staff has looked in the past in a similar org chart. It's a little confusing because like at the waterfront, we have ski, sailing, and paddling. Those are just how we broke down the different responsibilities. Our plan is to have, I think 6, maybe 5 or 6 specialists down there with the waterfront PAL. Ropes will have 3 specialists with the PAL. Pool will have 2 swim instructors with the PAL. ANC will just have 1. Performing arts will just have 1. And the rest of these aren't going to have any specialists. And you may be asking, how are we going to get all this stuff done without any specialists? And the answer is, our goal is, and again, we're waiting for the government and the governor to give us guidance on what camp will look like in order to run successfully. But our goal, because camp is shorter, because there's less time, there's fewer days of regular programming. We want all of our village staff to be activity counselors, and essentially the campers will have a series of hobbies as their schedule. They'll have an individual schedule that they follow for the 6 or 7 regular days of the session. Some of those activities will be 2 periods, some of that will be like double periods, some of them will be single, and all of the staff will be activity counselors. So they're gone are the days of bunk counselors moseying around with their kids and then sitting off to the side texting while their kids do drama or while their kids do ropes or whatever. And hello to the days where all of the staff are helping to facilitate all of the activities. So it's possible as a village staff that you'll go to athletics second period and teach basketball, and you're not going to have a whole lot of time to loaf around and socialize. You're going to show up at athletics and you're going to get to work and you're going to teach basketball. But we are committed to ensure that you have the training needed to teach basketball before you actually go out there and teach on your own. So that's sort of our thinking for how program areas are going to work. And you may be saying like, this is wild, this is crazy. Like, how is camp going to pull it off? And to be honest, like, of the research I've done, 95% of overnight summer camps do it this way. And we were the outlier in having bunk counselors and having a bunk schedule in the past. And we're getting with the times here. We're just doing it the way that most camps do. Campminder has a system built in for making the schedule for all campers and all staff. So the scheduling won't be a problem for us. And we're going to make sure that everyone is certified to teach or to work in different areas during orientation. So that's our thoughts on that. Any questions on that right now?
Neil, I just want to jump in. Oh, sorry. Somebody had a question. Go ahead. No? Okay. One of the things, Neil, I wanted to add is that something that's really cool about how we're thinking about planning for the summer is for those of you who have not yet started your application process to college or are in college and thinking about applying for jobs, being able to be an instructor and teaching and writing curriculum are things that you can put on your resume. And we are committed to helping you to be able to take the skills that you learn at camp and the work that you do during the summer and transfer those skills into the real life work that you're doing outside of camp. And so our hope is that some of the reimagination for this summer will help you guys to continue to grow in your professions and in your quest to your continued higher education.
Yeah, and before we move on, I just want to, this is a good time to bring up what I brought up before, which is the sort of like admin staff or leadership staff of camp being involved and being right there with you working. Lori is a former paddle sports, I think she was a canoeing specialist at one point, 2003 or something like that. So like Lori's going to be scheduled to teach paddling like second period.
So excited.
Just to make sure that we have enough staff in enough areas and that people are getting the freedom and the time off that they need. I got my boating license. Like, I'm going to be driving water ski boats. Amy is a ropes, she's like a former ropes pal at CSL, like 4 times or something like that. It's like, she's going to be helping belay over there. The 3 of us are all going to be lifeguards, and we're going to be lifeguarding at the pool so that the pool swim instructors can actually teach swimming and not lifeguard while someone else teaches swimming. So we're going to see the same from the unit heads and the CIT directors and the programming staff. As they are available, they will be scheduled to work in different areas throughout the day. It's also just like going to be a really great break for us to say, like, I gotta, Neil's taking an hour off from his assistant director duties and he's just like boat driver for the next hour. And that's just the way it's going to be to make sure that we can get all of this stuff done the way we want it to get done.
So I just found my curriculum from when I used to lead canoeing, and I used to do speedball plyac games. You play speedball in the plyacs. Yes, Josh, you do. I saw your eyes go up. You can play speedball in plyacs. It is super fun. I'm bringing it back.
Love it.
Okay, so media, just like Neil was talking about of some of our other areas kind of reducing how much overhead, how many staff we need for the areas, is also a space that has, we're reducing some of our staff needs as well, just because we don't have as many campers. We're really excited to be able to continue to tell the story the way that we have in the past. And one of my goals for this summer for media, in addition to all of the things that we do, is to start to think about how we market camp for campers and families who are not who are not who don't know camp. So we want to be able to take our website and our photos and our villages and start to be able to tell a story to people who don't know camp. And so I'm really excited for all of you to be able to help us in that project of figuring out how we sell camp to the broader community at large. Adam, that picture's there because I took it of you and I like it. And I think I might've known that you would make a comment. So that's why it's there. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, I will speak on behalf of Amy. So we're really excited that this summer, due to COVID, that we're able to continue to reimagine what the next best thing is for camp. And one of those areas that we know that needs continued support is in our healthcare area. So we are working towards actually bringing a nurse practitioner to camp this summer. And for those of you who don't know, nurse practitioners can function many ways, in the same ways as a physician can, if they have a physician that is supporting them. So we are adding nursing staff onto our team for this summer. One of the things that we're adding in is a behavioral health specialist that we're hoping is someone who is a certified nursing assistant or a registered nurse that can really help bridge that gap between our mental health and our health concerns at camp. We know that all of us, every single one of us and all of our campers are going to drive down Camp Road differently than we had pre-COVID. We're all coming with different things. Maybe we've got new health concerns. Maybe we've got new mental health stuff that we're challenged with. And we really want to make sure that both we're able to take care of ourselves first and foremost. Number one is us taking care of ourselves, and then us as staff being able to take care of our campers. So with this team, in addition to the support that we have from Jewish Family Services and their counselor that they're going to be sending down to camp once a week, we really hope that our ability to be able to support you taking care of your campers who may have challenging needs will improve and will look differently. The other thing that I'm really excited about that I want to just share quickly in this slide is that now that we live in this world of virtual appointments, this is my public service announcement that if people work with a therapist during the year and then they come to camp and they're not sure that they can't see their therapist anymore, or they do it on Zoom, that we will work with you confidentially to be able to continue to work with any sort of provider that you might see on a regular basis so that you don't have to miss those appointments. That goes everywhere from the top, from us from the leadership team, all the way to our campers. That, some of our reimagined spaces will be there and this new Wi-Fi to be able to support you in continuing to take care of yourself. And so this reimagined team is not just for our campers, but it's for you guys as well. The property, so speaking for JVH, our property team is looking much the same as it has in the past. Obviously, the big difference is that there is a huge component of the housekeeping addition with COVID and making sure that we're keeping our facility extra clean and that we're sanitizing, but really it's the same as we've done in the past. Anything, Neil, to add for this slide?
Okay. No, that's it.
So for our kitchen, we're going to be working with Wolf Foods again this summer. And as you guys most likely know, we made the difficult decision this summer to not bring international staff to camp, with the concerns of just not knowing where we're at with J1 visas and what could be required from the state and from the county. We wanted to make sure that we didn't find ourselves in a position super close to camp where key staff couldn't get here and that we would be left with trying to find replacements. So with that said, we have some really great plans. Mike has been, and Neil, Neil, I'm going to let you talk in a second about what you guys have been working on, but great opportunities for reimagining how we staff the kitchen this summer. Do you want to just touch on that quickly, Neil? Because you've been
so Wolf Foods is working to provide us with, they're calling them like externs, but essentially like they're employees of Camp Seneca Lake, but they are working closely with Wolf Foods to get certain certifications and training. These are people that are looking to get a career or to have a career in food service or food service management. Wolf Foods is also providing baker, head chef, and kitchen manager, which I think they always provide. And then we are looking to hire people to work in our kitchen on the daily basis, outside of those like 5 people that I just mentioned. These people may be local to Yates County or Wayne County. They may be local to Rochester. They may be college kids at like Keuka College or Hobart William Smith up in Geneva. And then another option that we're looking at, which I'm pretty excited about, is sort of like a rotating CSL staff in the kitchen, like a counselor staff, village staff, program area staff in the kitchen on like an as needed basis. So it's entirely possible that for session 1, you're in a bunk, and then session 2, you're working lunch and dinner shifts in the dining hall. We don't have a lot of details on that yet, but sort of depending on what the staffing picture looks like and where the needs are and what the guidance from the government is on how to open camp, we have to look at all of our available resources, and that includes the people that are hired for general camp staff to help fill in some of these places. So we'll know more when we know more about like how many kids are actually coming to camp, how many staff have actually been hired, and what the guidance is from the government. But it's entirely possible that all of us, everyone on this call, everyone that's been hired to work at camp will be assigned shifts in the dining hall to help facilitate the meal process as well.
And I think to add on to that, hopefully what you're hearing as a theme throughout this call is that we're all in this together. That in order to be able to continue to run a successful camp for camp's longevity, that we all want to be in this together. We all want to have the skills that are required to be able to go anywhere around camp and help as needed. And I think that will help us to continue to build an incredible community. It'll help us to learn. It'll show our campers how important it is to help out where you're needed. And like, those are values that we teach our campers, and we're going to continue by showing them physically that you jump in where you're needed. Neil was running our fake kitchen all summer long. We all had opportunities to be able to grill and put food on plates, and we all had fun together. I mean, I think you can do anything at camp, and it's just a matter of what your perspective is and how much fun you have. And so the music's got to be blasting, and you got to just be smiling and knowing that we're making the world a better place by providing this amazing opportunity for our campers. So I'm really excited to learn some things in the kitchen. My husband has been teaching me knife skills. I'm getting better at chopping, and I'm excited to be able to help out this summer. So that ends our formal presentation. And now we just want to open it up to hear if there is anything on your mind, if you've got questions, if you've got concerns, if this is your first time hearing about summer 2021, what your thoughts are, what information might you need from us?
And again, in the interest of transparency and honesty, as I've told those of you who I've spoken to during the application process, we have no secrets. We'll share anything that we can about what we know as far as what it's going to take to make Camp 2021 happen. And some of your questions, honestly, will prompt us to find answers to things that we weren't necessarily thinking about prior.
I actually have a quick question, just because I've been looking at it. With the vaccination stages in New York State, childcare is in like the stages that we're doing now. Is camp considered in that area?
It's a great question, Josh. So I needed to let our chief human resources officer like catch her breath from trying to get our staff who currently work at the JCC scheduled to get vaccinated. It is on my list of questions for her this week to understand once people sign contracts and go through our process and are formally hired, meaning after you've done your onboarding through, through the portal, does that then allow you to be able to go and get the vaccine? So that is high on my to-do list for this week. I don't know the answer yet. I don't know that there's clarity, excuse me, Josh, that there's clarity on it. And so it might be something that we need to reach out and get clarity on, but we're going to work on that because that's been on my mind too.
But Lori and I were able to get the step one or the first phase of the vaccine.
Phase 1B.
Phase 1B, because we are in person working at the JCC every day. So yeah, there's that.
Right. But what we don't know is like when you look backwards at how long it takes to get it and for it to be effective, right? When would staff who are going to be working at camp this summer need it in order to be good to go? So we're going to work on that and we can get back in touch with you guys to let you know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Great question. Other questions?
Hi, Lori. Hi, Neil.
Hi.
I joined on late. I was on a very intense paddle tennis match and it ran past time. So sorry for being late. So I missed the beginning. Just genuinely curious, and I don't know if this was discussed, what are the number of kids and counselors that like the max number that'll be there at a time? Mm-hmm. And then are the counselors expected to be there the whole summer? Are there going to be like handoffs and transitions? I apologize to everyone.
No, that's okay.
I was like hoping for a lull in questions to try to slide mine in there.
That's all right. We're going to answer them. Also, I noticed you shaved your beard.
Yes, we waited till Halloween. I got to be my leprechaun, and then I went back to looking like a normal person again.
Okay, so I like it. Okay, so to answer your questions, first and foremost, we have a maximum of 158 campers per session. That is including Tusk, which currently is assigned to the village of Mohawk. If we find out that we can use Tusk as a village, then that changes the dynamic of things and we can add more campers in. We have campers for all sessions on wait lists. Sessions 1, 2, and 3 are basically sold out. Session 4 has some space. So we're working closely. We're waiting to hear more from the Department of Health of understanding what it would mean to use platform tents for campers. And honestly, it's like an exercise in risk management of whether or not we were to say we're going to go do it. What I don't want, literally my worst nightmare is having to call people at the very last minute, campers, and tell them that they can't come to camp because we made an assumption about something and now we have to go and change. So we really went with this conservative approach to deciding 50% capacity and not using tents to start. And I hope and pray every night before I go to bed that we're able to increase our space. So what you missed is us sharing that we don't want a pod for the summer. That is not our hope. That is not our goal. That is not our wish. I think that we proved to ourselves, and the staff who are on the call that worked at camp last summer can attest that we managed, 700 people in and out of camp all summer. The staff came and went as they pleased. Obviously, it was a little bit more of a lax schedule than having campers at camp when you have families, but we did really well. Now things are different with the vaccine and with daily testing. And this week alone, I have 2 different calls with 2 different companies that do rapid testing. One of them is the company that does the rapid testing for all of the National Football League. And I'm talking with that company as well as another company based out of Buffalo. So that, along with this COVID-19 medical committee that we are kicking off this week, we're really hopeful that we're going to have a good plan in place. But Neil and I, we don't want to be bubbled in camp. We want to be able to go out for ice cream just as much as you guys do and go home to our houses to take a shower maybe once during the summer. Not the showering part, like the home showering part. So I hope that answers your question, Alex, but we really want you guys to know that it is not our intention, unless we have to bubble. And if things change, no different than for our campers, we're going to have conversations with staff who have signed their contract to say, is this still for you? We don't want people to be at camp if they don't want to be there, but we really want you to be there.
I think there was a part, Alex, you asked about the staff, and I think you're probably asking particularly about the village staff and if we've decreased those numbers. And the answer is no. Every cabin with campers will have 2 staff members living in it. And what does that look like for every village, not including Tusk? That looks like an assistant counselor and a counselor and 6 or 8 kids in every bunk. For Tusk, it looks like 1 Tusk counselor in every bunk and 1 non-village staff in every bunk as well, which is not far from what we've done historically with Tusk, having non-village staff live out there to help with things like duty assignments at night, or to, for staff to have a village to associate with during evening programs. So Tusk will have 6 counselors and 6 non-village staff living there because there's 6 cabins, and the rest of camp will have an assistant counselor and a counselor living in every camper bunk.
I have a question about the certifications. Like, in addition, obviously, like the compensation aside, like, is there going to be a list coming out at some point with like resources on like where we can go to get the certifications, maybe like timelines that they might take? I guess compensation could be a part of that. Like, if you do this, you'll get an extra bonus or whatever. But just like as far as like finding out how to actually get those certifications, obviously like lifeguard is pretty easy, but I'm sure some of the other ones are a little bit more niche and hard to find.
That's a great question, Jacob, and I can answer that, Lori.
Yeah, go for it.
So in terms of lifeguarding, CPR, AED, that is all available on the Red Cross website. It's pretty easy to find. And everyone I've spoken to about working at camp so far, I think I've had this conversation about lifeguarding. The JCC is not in a position right now to be offering a lifeguarding class. I imagine that at some point in the spring or late winter, we will be offering a class at the JCC in Rochester. But what I'm telling everybody as we talk about camp is go out, find your own class, one that fits into your schedule in your location, and then we're just going to give you a bonus on your salary for having that for lifeguarding. Other certifications are free in some cases. For example, the paddle sports certification is an online course and that's free. The New York State boating license course is online and it's free. And then there are some other certifications that we will be providing that are just like not really possible to get outside. For example, if you're working at the ropes course, we're going to have you go through the ropes training with Adventure Network, assuming you're available for that. And that'll be things like belaying and low ropes and all that great stuff that's for training out there. Our staff that are working at the pool, not only do we want them to have lifeguard, and we also want them to have WSI, which is I think like a water sports instructor or something like, or a water swimming instructor, something like that. And that's like how to teach swim lessons essentially. So what I've been telling everybody is if you really want to twist our arm with where you want to work during the summer in a particular area, program area, go and get that certification. Like, how can I say no to somebody that has WSI for working at the pool if they want to work at the pool, right? Oh no, sorry, we're not going to take advantage of your WSI. We're going to put you at ropes. Like, that doesn't really match up to me. So if you are interested in working in a certain area, arts and crafts, take a ceramics course. At the pool, take that WSI. At the waterfront, take that boating course, take that paddling course, take the sailing course, whatever is available online, and you're going to kind of twist our arm. We are working on a list of certifications and where they are accessible and whether or not they need to be hosted at CSL. Do they happen online? Do they happen in person? And costs associated with that. We're working on that right now. Things are a little messy because of COVID, and a lot of these organizations that typically would come to camp at some point in June may not have staff that are willing to do that, may not have staff that are able, or may have moved their course to another location and already have it booked because it's like 5.5 months away or 5 months away right now for some of this stuff. We're also looking through new Department of Health guidelines and how they reflect what certifications our staff need. For example, AK, this one, I think of you a lot with this archery training. We used to send CSL staff to Camp Sisal to go work with Mike Toma. It's like a 10-hour course. And our staff were coming back, like, honestly, like not that engaged in archery. In fact, like probably hating it at that point. So we're looking at the Department of Health guidelines and saying, is that a course that we need to have our staff that are teaching archery? Do they need to have that course in order to teach archery? Or have we just been doing it that way because that's the way we've always done it? And is there another option for us for teaching archery? There's this guy named Bradley Langston who was a collegiate archer. And does his experience qualify him as an instructor for teaching archery? And the answer to that question might be yes. And if that's the question, then we're going to rethink how we do some of these trainings and certifications. We're also not sure what it will look like to bring people in to camp to lead certifications from the outside world. Like, we don't know what the guidelines will be in terms of having vendors come into camp. Like, is that even possible? Can we have somebody come for 2 days and lead a course? We just don't know the answers to that question. Lori, I think you had
I wanted to add on. So on our spreadsheet that we're working on internally, there's a couple of different columns. There is, what does the JCC want us to have? What does CSL think we should have? What do we think we should have? What does the Department of Health think we should have? And what does the American Camping Association think that we should have? So we're looking at all of those and kind of taking a fresh new look. Like, it doesn't matter historically what's been done. COVID allows you to push the reset on anything in the world that you want to push a reset on. And so we're taking this opportunity to just relearn and pretend as though none of us had worked at camp in the past or have been staff, and learned from the beginning. So as we learn, we'll get that information out to you. But it's a really great question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, as far as like the really, really important ones, lifeguarding, and if you want to work at the waterfront, get some of that waterfront stuff sorted out. Lifeguarding, I know for sure we're going to pay everybody the bonus on the salary for having that. The other stuff, like the boating license, is free to get, so I don't really see us paying a bonus for having that one. But those are conversations that we'll have as we learn more from the Department of Health about those guidelines.
Right. And I'd say nothing is off the table. So, as you continue to share things to us, it really helps us to understand where you're at and what your motivations are, and helps us to continue to grow as we work towards the summer. Other thoughts, questions? Go Bills. All right. Well, if that's it, we've been together for an hour, which is amazing. I am, again, really so grateful to all of you for your commitment to our camp and to our future. And whether, again, you're with us this summer or not, you're such an important part of our story. And we're so grateful to have you. If you think that there is anyone who might want to hear this Zoom today, information that could be helpful, I am recording it. And so tell them to either email or text me, and I can send them the link to it once it's uploaded. I'll get it onto YouTube. Yeah, Neil.
If you have applied to camp and had an interview with me and you're waiting for an answer on what your status is as a potential employee, I appreciate your patience. We're probably stuck somewhere in trying to communicate with a reference of yours. There's a lot of phone tag and back and forth with email that happens right now. And if you have gone through all the motions already and think you may have some friends from your life outside of camp that want to at least have a conversation or entertain the idea of working at camp for the summer, send them my way or send them to the website. We're happy to have conversations with anybody about the opportunities that we have available for working at camp. And I think I've said this to probably everybody over the years, but there's no harm in at least entertaining the idea and at least talking about it. Right now, it's a lot easier for me to build the staffing picture with people that have expressed interest in working at camp now than it is to try and fit them into an already painted picture later on in the year. So if you or your friends are unsure, I don't know, like I'm waiting to hear back about this thing, like you can't say no to something that hasn't been offered to you. So until you're offered a job, you're not working at camp, right? So why not entertain the idea? Why not have a conversation about it? Something might come up and it turns out it's a good fit or not. But those are not things that we can figure out until someone has expressed interest in working at camp. So encourage your friends to apply or to at least have a conversation with me about it, so that we can, have a successful summer with a robust, well-qualified staff.
And with Neil pulling us all on a banana boat.
I can't wait.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for everything. Have a wonderful Sunday. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will be in touch with you soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you.